What happens when passion meets collaboration? When trial and error becomes growth? Not just for the plants, but for the growers behind them? This is more than a grow diary. This is the story of FTS crossed with Swank Genetics collaboration. From the Stash and Swank Genetics collaboration is between 4 passionate cultivators, Rob, Chris, Swank, and myself. United by love for quality genetics and the pursuit of perfection, we set out to grow something special. Not just a crop, but a legacy. This project was about pushing limits, learning from the land and each other, and it's about the details, the struggle, and the success. We begin with the seeds. Hand-selected genetics, combining the best of both 808 Genetics' fire shit and Swank Genetics' cut of frosted lemonade. After a successful germination, we nurtured them into seedlings under the SF1000, a reliable, full-spectrum LED that gave the young plants the energy they needed to establish roots. Keeping humidity and temperature consistent was key. Using a humidity dome made it simple to dial in the right microclimate. In this stage, it's all about foundation, clean water, light, and patience. Cloning and mother plants. As the plants matured, we weeded out the males from the females, found 3 viable females. I took clones, each snip a genetic replica, a promise of consistency. Cloning may seem like a simple process, but the real challenge is maintaining healthy mother plants. With dozens of plants in rotation, keeping them all fed, happy, and pest-free became a full-time commitment. Managing a garden of this size is like juggling a fire. One bad move and you're playing catch-up for weeks. We use Stash Blend for nutrients, a clean, dialed-in formula perfect for your plant, and a premium plant additive including things like beneficial bacteria, silicon seaweed, humic acid, and more. These are going to promote strong roots and tight internodal spacing. A time for structure, training, and growth. But this is also where I hit a wall. I overfed. I pushed them too hard, too fast, and the plants told me, with curling leaves and burnt tips, that they have had too much. I simply misunderstood the size of a tablespoon versus a teaspoon and gave my plants 4 times the amount of nutrients they needed. Usually when it comes to a burn of the plants of this proportion, I would generally just throw them out, cull them, and start over. But because these were my Swank Genetics crossed with FTS collaboration, I felt a need to keep these girls alive and decided I was going to try to preserve them before I try to throw them out. Usually, I wouldn't go this far because I could tell that things weren't doing well. But remember, if you do have this kind of effect or this kind of burn, water will fix it. It was easy for me to identify whether I had a toxicity or a deficiency based on the process I had used to get to this point. First, I identified I was feeding too much. Noticed that the plants were burning early in flower and thought there's something going on here. I took a look at the process and realized that I was simply feeding too much. With this in mind, I was then able to make a change to decrease the amount of food, use just water, and to try to clean out those pots. Wanted to document this process to show people that no matter what kind of scenario you're in, what kind of buildup or toxicity you have, in most cases, you can fix it, especially if you're still in veg. So to do so, just add water and then wait for the toxicity in the pot to come down. Remember, you're checking your runoff with a ppm or EC meter after you water to determine what kind of buildup is still in the pot. It then became a rush against time to try to drain the pots of those excess nutrients. So over the course of the next couple weeks, all these plants received was heavy doses of water. It's humbling. You think you've got it under control, and then the plants remind you who's really in charge. I pulled back, flushed, reset the environment. VivoSun's inline fans and carbon filters helped keep the environment stable while I nursed the canopy back to health. This setback taught me more than any textbook ever could. With the plants recovering and thriving, it was time to flip them to flower. Using the Spider Farmers SF7000, it's an advanced spectrum for flowering, we started to see explosive growth. The genetics really started to shine. Day by day, the aromas intensified. Fuel, candy, earth, some citrus, buds stacked tight, and the color expression started to pop. We're seeing purples, greens, oranges. Everything looks amazing. Stash Blend carried the garden all the way to the finish line. Balanced nutrition during the swell and fade out without buildup or lockout. And as things progress towards the final stages of flower, I am starting to notice that I am seeing some big, plump, beautiful buds. I will be doing a harvest breakdown of these genetics to give a good, thorough overlook of exactly what these plants have to offer, both in aroma, looks, and effect. I decided to choose 3 phenos, labeling them Pheno 1, 2, and 3. Phenos 1 and 3 became very purple with a nice fade, while Pheno 2 maintained a green look to it, not even a dash of purple, but more of the greens, the yellows, and the oranges. These 2 genetics, Fire Shit and Frosted Lemonade, coming together, you get yourself a very nasty, funky, fuely terp with some very desirable effects. Quick to behind the eyes, very heavy high, and I think something that's going to please the heaviest of stoners. Growing cannabis is never just about the plant. It's about the people you build with, the mistakes you make, the things you learn when the lights are off, and it's just you and the green. The boys and I are growing something special. It isn't just for the buds. It's for the bond. Rob, Chris, Swank, thank you for your trust in the process. FTS Crossed with Swank collaboration is just the beginning. If you're a grower, stay inspired. If you're a smoker, stay curious. If you're part of this culture, respect the plant and the people behind it. Like, share, subscribe for more behind the scenes looks into the grow life. I'm Pigeons, and thanks for watching.
Before we get started, a huge shout out to VivoSun. VivoSun has got quality grow equipment for your setup. I recently got the Aerolite Wing AW400, and this light powers my 4x4 grow tent, giving me a beautiful, bountiful grow. And it can help you too.
Visit vivosun.com, use promo code PIGEONS420 and save 15% off your purchase.